Hello, my name is FRANCESFOX, and I'm your favorite psychic spy. I'm doing the horoscopes now for the week of the 21st to the 28th of November 2022. We had a visit last night during our chat. One of the beings from the Galactic Federation, it's okay if you don't believe it. All you're doing is listening. You're widening your lens, you're listening, that's all. And we're told that a cycle had ended on planet Earth, and that from here forth, everything will be a result of intention. That is very good, except that most of our most important intentions are subconscious. We're not even aware that we have them. As an example, the example I always give because it's for me the funniest, maybe because it applies. You're single. You want to be paired off. That's your intention. Why are you still single? Because your father was very controlling, or you were abused by the opposite sex when you were young. And so you have a deeper subconscious intention that is saying, I don't want to be controlled. Until you make peace with that part of you, which can remain true, but cannot dominate your subconscious and your intentions, you're not going to get what you think you intend because you have another intention that is overpowering it. So this week, it would be particularly important to start to practice on focusing so that you can energize your intentions and to ferret out and become a detective and find what subconscious intention you could possibly have that could be blocking you from getting what you are insisting that you want. I took care of somebody last week on a public forum, so I can repeat it, and she wanted to get pregnant and have a baby. And she couldn't. And when I looked and asked causal factor, the causal factor was that when she was young, she heard her mother say that once a woman had a child, her life was over. That was in her subconscious. She had an intention in this lifetime to have a life and not to live what her mother said her life would be if she had a child. Easy to take care of by doing a mantra and purifying out that thought that was not even hers. So you need to learn that multitasking is possibly your biggest enemy to getting what it is that you want. Every time you have an intention from your center axis, juts out a triangle towards what it is that you want. You can have many of those triangles jutting out, they're vectors coming out of you, having to do with many particular different subjects. But when you have two that have completely opposite intentions, that's when you get frustrated and don't understand that law that says that you create your reality, that your intention creates it. So you need to ferret out what are the subconscious intentions you have. And that's why it's so important to go to your past and clean it up. Clean up the traumas because they create, each and every one of them creates 1, 2, 3, and 4 subconscious intentions because it was a trauma. You don't want it to happen again. You're still reacting to it today. Why are you still reacting to it? Because in the other dimensions, time is not a factor. It doesn't exist. Everything is right now. It feels very unfair, certainly very complicated, but that is the way it is. So when somebody tells you just get over it, what basically they're saying is put it away so that you don't think about it. And that is where you get into trouble because that you put away stays within your system, within your assemblage of bodies. So let's go on to your horoscopes, which is the reason why you're watching this video. Let's go with Aries. Aries, your intention is tremendous freedom, independence, and new things because you get bored really easily. But you have a subconscious intention because you're a little childlike to have the protection like of an adult or an organization or a system. You can't have both at the same time. You're either totally independent, which is what you insist on, or you can be totally dependent and not be willing to go out the front gate. So work on fear of not having protection because you have a subconscious intention that is blocking you in a lot of the things that you would like to have happen. In other words, that you would like to create. That's your big block. And this week, you need to start practicing up. Taurus. Taurus, you have the ability to focus and to achieve something through sheer will, but you have so many vectors jutting out from you that have to do with security issues, paying the rent, paying the car. Is the company going to make it in 5 years? Deal with today. That constant worrying is not just a constant worrying, it's a constant diminishing of your ability to be able to focus on something and energize it. So every time you have something that worries you, immediately go into a purification mantra. Even though I'm afraid I can't pay the rent, I love and accept myself. Even though, and that will collapse that energy. And then you get to the kitchen and you notice that something is missing, and then you're afraid you're not going to be able to buy it again, or that they're going to run out of it at the grocery store. I'm afraid they're not going to have any I love and accept myself, even though I'm afraid they're not going to have any I love and accept myself. You send your kid to school and there's some virus, and you read in the newspapers that a lot of kids are getting hospitalized, and so secretly you worry yourself sick. So every time you catch that, you go, even though I'm afraid they're going to die, I love and accept myself. Even though I'm afraid they're going to die, you start collapsing all these vectors that shoot out from you. So you have all that extra energy. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen, but it has to do with your creation. You're putting too much energy into your reaction to what could happen. Let's continue. Cancer. You spend too much time worrying about emotional issues, such as somebody's reaction to something you said, or something happens and you get emotionally caught up with it. Oh my God, that's depressing. Oh my God, did that really happen to my cousin? Oh my God, you haven't seen your cousin for 20 years. And it's like, oh my God. And that's an excuse to fall into a black hole of depression. When that happens, you go and you do a purification mantra. Even though it's shocking what happened to my cousin, or even though I'm so depressed about what happened to my cousin, even though I'm afraid that's going to happen to me, and then I love and accept myself. You choose one that feels the most appropriate and you do it. And that disconnects you, because these vectors connect you to that situation. And you can stay connected to that situation forever. So you have to immediately respond with a plan. And I'm giving you the plan, Cancer, because everything is an excuse to fall into a black hole of despair and depression. Okay? Got it? You need to have all that energy to focus on what you want, rather than to react emotionally to the realities that you run into, that are presented to you, that you read in the newspapers. And by the way, stop reading negative news and stop seeing shows that are shocking or that upsetting. Stop looking. If you're a female that wants a mate, stop looking at gothic novels and shows, because those females rarely end up well. Or it's so unrealistic, that's not going to happen to you. That does not help you, those images, to create the reality that you want. So get intelligent of the food that you give your mind and that you're going to react to and that you're going to use as fuel, Cancer. Just stay away from everything that's negative, because it always does the same thing. Lassos you, throws you into a black hole. When that starts to happen, you do a purification mantra, which is like a vacuum cleaner. It draws it in and then purifies it out. Next, Leo, fire sign. You're still too self-involved, Leo. You're still just thinking about your stuff and your things and what they did to you and what you should have done and what could have been. You need to stop that. You are not focusing or vitalizing your intentions that go into that vector, because you're too busy recycling within your own assemblage of bodies. Where are you going to go with that? The world is not an easy place, and the people that don't understand how they create their reality, it's going to be a bit of a mess for them. And Leo, this is a bit of a mess. So every time you have a negative thought, you go into the intention that will substitute that, or you purify that, just like Cancer, because you're still recycling too much negative emotional things, and there's still too much fire. You're still too frustrated. Remember to use the glacier technique. You visualize a glacier on top of you, one underneath each arm, one in between the legs, one on your liver. That's the organ that holds the fire. And you need to understand that you're responsible for your creations, but in order to create well, you need to take what the Buddhists call the monkey mind, and you need to train it and retrain it. We are missing Gemini. So let's go to Gemini. Gemini, you're reaching in lots of directions. You're very entertained. You're very disassociated. You cannot achieve greatness when you're reaching for several things at one time. You'll go nuts, or you'll achieve mediocre results because you can do a lot of stuff. We already know that, Gemini. You want greatness, you have to focus. Figure out what it is you need to do to focus. You need to hire somebody. Do you need to let somebody go? Do you need to put strict rules as to what times of the day you can't be interrupted? Do you need to let go of half of the projects that you have because there is no way you're going to achieve greatness in all of them? It's too many of them. Start making decisions and do a mantra. Please, God, help me with my intention to understand what's really important. Okay? And leave some time for play, Gemini. You need to play also. Virgo is an earth sign. And I don't like what I see for Virgos. It does not look good. I still think somebody's doing black magic on you. I don't really, this is going to sound terrible. I don't really care whether you believe in black magic or not. If you don't, then you really haven't paid attention to religion. You haven't paid attention to all the huge civilizations that achieve stuff that even today we haven't achieved because you don't want to believe. Okay. But I think maybe somebody did something because what I'm seeing is not good, and I don't think you did this to yourself. So you're actually not getting out of this space. In order to create, you have to have a vector that juts out. Not happening. We do analysis of aura. Doesn't matter. There are other people that do it. You just need to figure out what it is that's going on that is not self-generated. Even though if somebody did black magic and it landed, it's because you have a hole inside your system. So you'll need to work on that. But honestly, you need to stop and get something figured out because you're not getting any place. Whatever is important to you is going to slip through your fingers because there's something going on that's huge, just like a couple of other signs. You need to stop and see what it is that's going on. Okay? We're talking about intention and the fact that we have been informed from higher sources that a cycle on the planet has ended and that intention is going to create your reality. A lot of other factors are just going to fall by the wayside. So Virgo, you need to get yourself organized, purified and organized so that you can point forward and achieve greatness in a couple of areas where you want to do that. Libra, air sign. You got all these little projects. They're wonderful. See where it's up in the air? You're disassociated. Oh my God, you're over enthusiastic about these little projects. I'm going to do this. You can't do all those things. Okay? You're just not going to be able to do it. It's almost like a little game you play so you don't have to make a decision. Oh, Libras don't like making decisions because then maybe they made the wrong one and then they get crazy. Stop it. You make a wrong decision like all the rest of us. You go, oh, you know what? That was not such a great idea. Let me go back and do this. Just like all the rest of us. You need to let go of half of the projects that you have. It's not going to work. You're not going to achieve greatness. And if you don't achieve greatness, you're not going to be happy because that's the way you are, Libra. Okay? So review your projects and not up here. Review them here. Get rid of half of them. Put them in a bottom drawer. And then check. And then start figuring out how much energy you spend on this one, this one, this one. This is not an executive coaching session, so I have to quit and I have to go on to the next sign. Scorpio, water sign. I see you as if you were in a barrel. Solar plexus chakra, second chakra, which is sacral, sexual, and first chakra, which is root, prosperity, security. It's as if you're swimming in an ocean of really ugly and dirty fire water. It's red. I don't know what went on, but You got to get out of the barrel, but you can't get out of the barrel because of all that water, which is emotion. So you have a lot of very angry emotions that are also very ugly, really ugly. I would do an intention mantra, the big one. Please, God, help me with my intention to purify my family's ancestral vasanas of this mess, whatever the mess will be. God will know what the mess is. Maybe you don't even know what the mess is, but you're just swimming in it. Okay? That's the mantra. Continuing on with Sag. Sagittarius, fire sign. I said this when I did the horoscopes in Spanish. You like to hold all your cards close to your chest. Okay. You haven't let anybody know? Okay. Guess what? When you're ready to move, everybody's going to be in shock. You're not going to get any support because you never told anybody. You have secret intentions. And then you have the intentions that you tell people, which are not really the legitimate ones. Guess what, Sagittarius? Hard to achieve greatness like that. So you need to pull up your secret intentions and start to reveal them and put them front and center. Doesn't mean you publish them in newspapers or put them in a mass email. They can't be so hidden. You're spending too much of your energy hiding things. What's that all about? That does not work when it comes to creating a reality via your intentions. That whole side thing of let's not let anybody know, but I'm going to work on it over here is not the single pointed focus you need to achieve greatness in any area, Sag. Besides which it's exhausting and you're over it. Continuing with Capricorn, earth sign. You have made decisions, you're clear headed, you are not a happy camper, but you have made decisions. I see you working on the yard. Somehow you're incorporating a lot of earth energy. This is really good. I don't think there's much that I need to tell you. I think that you're not in a fun place, but I think you're in a good place in terms of creating the reality that you want, because the games you played with yourself, which we all do, having to do with what you wanted, what you didn't want. Oh yes, but this looks good and it'll make me look good, and blah, blah, blah. All that is over for you. You made it over. You said, I need to get real because this is not working. Great. Continue. Aquarius is an air sign, not a water sign. You're not really going to be getting any place soon. Your intentions, I think you're a little bit dizzy. I think you are very sensitive to energies that are out there for the whole planet, not anybody in particular, and you're a little bit dizzy. And I think you need a lot more contact with nature. I think you need to move your toes and your feet, get completely in your body, because it's like you're out of it. And out of it is not single pointed focus and achieving greatness. Single pointed focus has a name in Hinduism. It's called ekagrata. It's a state of mind where you are focused on one thing. And that's called being in the zone in English. That's how you achieve incredible results when you're doing sports or when you're doing a piece of art and you're not there. Aquarius, you are like the opposite. You're playing games with other people. You're not letting them know what you really want, to where you're not sure what you really want because you've been so busy playing games, trying to keep everybody happy, not upsetting anybody with saying, you know what, I think I want this. You are not doing that. But the game ends up being a game that plays against you. You need to get clear as to what you want, and you need to start moving it up out of behind your back, which is where you hide it, and bring it out to the light. I think you're going to get a lot more support than you think you're going to get, Aquarius. I don't know what you're so afraid of, but you are afraid. So how about the purification mantra? Even though I'm afraid to move, I love and accept myself. But the move is not like moving from one building to another, one country to another. To move as is in moving in a direction. You're afraid to move in any direction. That mantra may help you a lot, Aquarius. Pisces is a water sign. Pisces are the most evolved of all the signs. By the time they get into this incarnation, they can't take it anymore. So they just shut themselves in a box and they kind of amble along. Several months ago, they stopped ambling along. They came out of the box and they started looking at stuff and going, this is not working. I don't want this. Who said that they could do that? I'm not doing this. And you got real clear. And you started making changes and you're still making changes. And now you're kind of a little bit in slow motion because you're going, people are not going to like this. They're not going to like this. No, they're not going to like this. And it worries you because you don't want to upset people. You don't have an option. You took decades to come to this place and make these decisions. Some of you, you're not going to go back. If you want what you want, you intend it and you want it to happen, you can't be playing games with other people because it ends up being playing games with yourself. Single pointed focus. This is what I want. You know that ultimately what you want is good for everybody, Pisces. So please don't worry about it. Just do it. You already decided to anyway. So these are the horoscopes for the week of the 21st to the 28th, I believe, of November 2022. This is the week after the week that changed the world as we knew it. The Mayans said that the world as we knew it would no longer exist. Well, that's been the case for several years already. Things are just not what they used to be. Last week, there was another gigantic shift and a cycle ended. The master that visited us had a red book in his hand. He closed it. He said the cycle ended. And from here forth, it's all about intention. So get clear because intention is all about mind and focus. And that is basically all that we work on with our group Mantristas, which you're welcome to come in and come out of anything that it is that we have to offer. We're going to start giving classes on psychic development. I think the first week of December. So you might want to join us there. It might be fun. Okay, so my name is FRANCESFOX. I hope to be your favorite psychic spy. Join us on Twitter because I am enjoying Twitter a lot. And our handle on Twitter is Fox Francis. See you around.